Hey there and welcome back to Andy's podcast. This is my spot on the little blue and green dot where we don't do boring. Well, we try not to, you know. So what's my site about? My podcast is about using my experience to help you save time and money. Also talking about balance and compromise, but most of all it's about communication. So, and what are we communicating about today? Well, I had a fascinating talk yesterday with a stranger. And my mother often said I never met a stranger. And so today's podcast is about confidence. Where does your confidence come from? It's a very interesting subject, this, because a lot of people see me as this guy who just wanders around and wades into things and like, oh yeah, that guy had, he just waltzed in and like knew what he was doing and stuff, or at least pretended he did. So, and I had this air of, and I don't know why, I've just always been a bullion, I've always been able to talk to people. And I have this air of I can do anything, or I portray that apparently. I don't know why. I mean, I don't actually think I do, but whatever. So I had a chat. I met a stranger, and we were talking, and it's a lady, and I said, okay. She said, well, how do you know so much? You seem very confident all the time. And I said, well, I suppose just my experience, really. I mean, I've been around a long time. That's why this is grey. And there's none of this left, and I said I've been around a long time and I just enjoy what I do, but I learn as I go, so my experience helps me to be confident in what I'm doing or delivering or whatever. And I told her about the podcast, and she said, wow, you do a podcast, what do you talk about? I said, things that affect me, I suppose, and affect other people. I'm trying to help people. That's my big thing. I'm trying to be somebody who can help other people by passing on my experience and helps them save time and money, helps them with balance, compromise, and doing different things. She said, well, I'm not a very confident person. I said, well, okay. You're not a very confident person. I said, you seem very confident. And I said, from what you've told me. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I've got a real task on at the moment. I don't know whether you can help. And I said, well, give it a go. Tell me what it is. What's the problem? She said, I want to change the oil in my car. And I said, you want to change the oil in your car? Okay, well, that's not rocket science. I said, didn't you tell me you used to work with your dad and your granddad on stuff? Yes, well, that's a long time ago, I'm 40 now. I said, okay, whatever. Right. But wrenches and, well, yes, of course. Oh, right, okay, so you're not very confident about changing your oil in your car. And I said, why is that? And she said, well, it's a BMW. I said, oh, it's only got 3 letters. I've got one of those. I've got a GMC. So I said, well, what's so complicated about it? Well, I can't find anyone that will work on it because they say they're going to break a certain part, and if they do, it'll cost hundreds of dollars to fix it. And I'm like, oh, right. And who are these people? Oh, all the oil change stores. I said, well, okay. So they're not experts. No, there's nobody who works on BMWs where I live. I said, oh, okay. I said, why don't you just watch YouTube? Everything's on YouTube. I said, I've got a Denali, and I locked myself out of it one day. Yep. Big failure. Greatest success. Yeah. Anyway. And I said, I watched a video for 15 minutes, made the tool, and then listened to a man said, put it down the inside of the door and just swing it. And when it clicks, lift it up. And I'm like, I'm going to put a piece of steel I just made into a tool I've never seen down the side of my window, into the door frame, into the door panel, and I'm going to swing it until it clicks. And I'm thinking, pfft. And I thought, but the guy's on a video. He's making the thing, right? So anyway, I swung it and it went click, and I went, oh, come on. It can't be that. Click, and opened my door. So I never doubted YouTube, ever, after that. There are people who make terrifyingly bad videos. Especially when you want to work on a lawnmower for some reason. But anyway, so the whole thing was, I said, watch a YouTube video. There's bound to be tons of guys. I said, what year? It's this year, it's this car, it's this model. Right, okay. There you are. There's 4 videos showing right now. And she went, well, how do I know those people are right? I said, because they're making videos on YouTube. If they were wrong, they wouldn't last very long. At all. They'd be gone. Because they'd be misrepresenting, for one, but also their businesses. These guys are all mechanics. They sell their services using YouTube. I said, these guys aren't rookies. And I said, you're not a rookie either. I said, but why have you got no confidence? Can I just ask you, were you confident when you had a baby? What? I said, were you confident? Well, yes, of course. I mean, I wanted to be a mom. I suppose. Why? Oh, right. And were you confident of getting your master's degree? Oh, yeah, fairly confident, yes. Yeah, I knew I had the ability and I knew I could do it and I love the subject. I said, okay. So, were you confident when you bought your great BMW? She said, oh, yes, I just loved it. I knew that was the car I wanted. I said, right, okay. And I said, so you've been confident in all these other areas, yet you seem to be stalling on changing the oil in this car. Well, everybody said, I said, whoa, who's everybody? That doesn't mean anything. What other people say, why don't you listen to an expert? Well, I'm not an expert. I like to think I'm an expert on a few things, this many. Right, but why don't you listen to the experts that actually have done this job on YouTube, follow their instructions to the letter, using your tools that your dad and your granddad will have, who will probably help you do this. So why don't you just put all that together? And I don't understand the non-confidence. Somebody said you're going to break something or something. Oh yes, there's this part, and if you do it wrong, it breaks off. I said, okay, I'm pretty sure that'll be covered in the video. But I said, I'm not going to watch the video. You need to watch the video. Then you need to tell me how it goes, because I want to see it. So you're confident as a mother. You're confident as a fabulous educator. You were confident in a corporate job, and you were confident that when you gave that up to take less money, you would have a great time watching your daughter grow up. So that was a big decision. You're confident about driving your car. You love it. You're confident about all these other things, but you're not confident about changing the oil after watching an expert. Right. So I said, my only suggestion is watch the video, because I would. If I had that car and I needed to do that oil change and nobody would do it, I would find out why not. I'd be inquisitive. I'd go, well, what do you mean I can't do the oil? What are you talking about? Okay, I'm a mechanic. I can, but I'm not a car mechanic. I'm a motorcycle specialist. But so what? I wouldn't care. I just watched the video. But it made me think about the lack of confidence, and she was suffering with a lack of confidence. I think maybe a bit of low self-esteem, but that's not really the point. I said, you need to look back on your success. I said, you've been successful as a mother, as an educator, as a student. I said, you got everything. You got a great house. I said, where's your failure here? Where's this lack of confidence coming from? And because I said, you've just been a success your whole life by the sound of it. And so, I don't really know where now, if there's people going, oh, you can't do that yourself. Yeah. Oh, no, that's not a job for you. That is my biggest motivator. My biggest motivator my entire career as a motivator, not a confidence builder. My motivation was always when people stood back and went, oh, no, you couldn't do that. No, we can't do that. And I would say, okay, excuse me, but why not? Oh, well, it's very complicated. I'm going, well, give it a go. Well, you don't seem to understand the magnitude of it. I said, yes, I do, because I'm standing here talking to you about it. I do understand the magnitude. Why can't we do this? Is there a problem with the money? Is there a problem with the materials? Is there a problem with me? What's the problem? Well, I just don't see it. Oh, you're going to do it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wasting my time. I thought you wanted me here to do it. Well, yes, of course I do. Well, you just don't see it. You're not me, are you? So that's where my arrogance, people call it arrogance, I call it confidence. But I could see what he was talking about, and I knew I could do it. Yes, it's going to take some work and a bit of figuring it out, but I can do it. So my confidence built from that point when I was told, you can't do that. Always, every time. And so I tried to explain to my new friend that I said, take all the positive things that you've done in your life and all the confidence you had when you made great decisions, okay? And put that into changing your oil. Listen to the videos. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If you can't find anything that makes it easier for you to change the oil in your own car, all right? I will find you a BMW specialist who will tell me how to do it, and then I will tell you. How's that? And she said, well, do you know one of those? I said, no, I've got no idea. I said, but I'll soon find one. It's not a problem. You can find anybody if you look hard enough. So my confidence comes from my previous experience and the ability to communicate with people who have already experienced what you're experiencing. Now, whether they're on YouTube or whether they're at my front door, who cares? They're still real people making videos about real things, and that's why I love YouTube. So that's why I do this. So where's your confidence gone? I don't know. Where is it? It's in your back pocket. It doesn't matter where it is. Think back to your successes that you had when you felt super confident, you made the right decisions, you got a great job, you bought a great car, you bought a great house, you made a great deal. It doesn't matter what it is. Think back to that time, find that confidence that you had then, and put it into whatever is directly in front of you. It's like me showing up on a new beach. I'm not confident how good the sand is going to be, but I'm sure I'm going to make it work, regardless of what it's like. Because I know I've got experience and I can handle just about anything. Even if it's useless and it doesn't do what my sand does, I don't care. I just get on with it. I make something to the best of my ability and say, this is as good as your sand gets. And there we go. So we choose our battles and off we go. But it doesn't matter. I still wouldn't turn up and let people down. I mean, I stacked sand on a parking lot on a plastic sheet in the middle of Virginia. I didn't know what the sand was going to be like, but I told somebody, I described it as I went sharp sand, no grit, little bit of clay. It would be lovely. Turned up, sand was perfect. Built a 6.5 foot sandcastle in a parking lot in an afternoon, talked to people, finished, went home, which was crazy. But hey, I wasn't sure until I got there, but if I hadn't had the right sand and it wasn't very good, I would have gone to plan B, which was making a much smaller thing, which is not a problem. So, you know, your confidence comes from your previous ability. So think back to the great decisions you made. Think back to the great things you've done. Find the confidence. Think back to when you were at your happiest and you were confident about what you were doing. And put that energy into changing the oil on your car. I know it sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I was just thinking, well, why hasn't this woman got any confidence? She's done all these amazing things. So that's what made me think. I thought, that's really interesting. I don't usually suffer from a lack of confidence. If I really can't do something and it's out of my wheelhouse, I just stop. I just say, nope, not for me. Sorry. I don't do that. I know a man who does, or a woman who does, but I don't. So there you go. So that's it. And so your confidence comes from your own experience. Your confidence comes from the ability to communicate with those, as I said many times, with experience. It will save you time and money because you're going to do things on your own. And the balance and the compromise? Well, the compromise is I don't think there is a compromise. And the balance is the balance between you paying somebody else and you getting it done yourself, or using, a paid service to do some of it, buying parts yourself. I don't know. Doesn't really seem to be one in confidence. There isn't a balance in confidence. Confidence, you're confident or you're not. Or you're confident or you're unsure. So there you go. Your confidence comes from here. And using this because you've used it before. All right? So just try and be confident about your decisions. Hey, and if you go the wrong way, life. But you can not go the wrong way by communicating with experience, and then you'll get your confidence back and then you'll move forward. I hope I've helped you. I've had a great time. It was a very interesting conversation, and I hope she gets her oil changed on YouTube. I don't know whether she will. I've got no idea. But it just made me think about, wow, you're not confident, yet you've achieved all this, and you're talking about changing the oil of your car? Watch a video, come on. And it sounds very simple for me to say that, but that's what I would do. The wonderful, experienced, amazing Andy Hancock. Yeah, I'd get on YouTube and watch it, just like I did when I locked myself out of my own truck. Right. Yes, and I found out why. When I was getting out of it, my elbow was touching the lock button on the side of the door. Doesn't do that anymore. All right, so have a look. Have some good fortune with your confidence. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Remember, all creation begins with destruction, and yes, we don't do boring because that's for other people, not us. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.